I'll never forget the sound of my son's terrified scream slicing through our normally peaceful suburban neighborhood. I was in the backyard setting up for his birthday party when I heard it. That gut-wrenching cry that makes every parent drop everything and run. My heart pounded as I bolted through the house and out the front door. What I saw stopped me cold. There was my 10-year-old son, Tommy, crumpled on the ground in tears. Towering over him was a red-faced woman, probably in her 50s, gripping the handlebars of his brand-new mountain bike. The same bike I had just surprised him with less than an hour earlier. "This isn't yours. Put it down right now," she screeched, yanking the bike away from Tommy, who was desperately clinging to it through sobs. "I know which garage you stole this from." I sprinted across the lawn as Tommy stumbled backward. Her hand had clearly made contact with his shoulder. It looked unmistakably like a shove. A few neighbors had already stepped out onto their porches, and I heard someone say they were calling the police. I would soon learn the woman was Barbara Wilson, our neighborhood's HOA president, and she had just laid hands on my son. On his birthday. Over the bike he had dreamed about for months. Tommy had been obsessed with that bright red mountain bike. He'd clipped out pictures from magazines, emailed me links, and even created a whole PowerPoint presentation on why it would change his life. So when his 10th birthday came around, I knew exactly what to get him. I stashed it at my sister's house for weeks, and when he opened a box containing just a photo of the bike, his face lit up in a way I'll never forget. We brought the bike out to the front so he could test it while I finished setting up the backyard. I told him he could ride up and down the street as long as he stayed within my view. That's probably when Barbara saw him and made her own outrageous assumptions. "Ma'am, take your hands off my son and his bike," I said, forcing calm into my voice despite the fury boiling inside. More neighbors had gathered now, and I noticed a few with their phones out recording. Barbara whipped around, face twisted in indignation. "Your son. This bike." "I don't think so," she sneered. "The Millers just reported a bike stolen from their garage, and it looks exactly like this one." I was on my way to inspect the Thompsons' unapproved garden gnomes when I caught this little thief in the act. Tommy, still on the ground, looked up at me, his face streaked with tears. "Dad, tell her. Tell her you gave it to me. For my birthday. Today." Before I could speak, Barbara let out a mocking laugh. "Oh, how convenient," she said. "It's your birthday, so you magically have a $500 mountain bike? All the kids here know not to take what doesn't belong to them. The HO has rules, and I enforce them." I stepped between her and my son, gently helping Tommy to his feet. "Barbara, this is absurd. It is his birthday. We've got decorations in the backyard, wrapping paper in the trash, and I have the receipt for that bike in my wallet. You're making a huge mistake." She crossed her arms and jabbed a finger at me. "So now you're teaching your kid to lie too? Figures. I always knew something was off about your family moving in here. The board really should have done more thorough background checks." The tension was rising fast. More neighbors were watching, whispering amongst themselves. I recognized some of them. People who had mentioned Barbara's history of pouncing on minor rule infractions, like mismatched mailbox colors or trash cans left out a few minutes too long. Tommy gripped my hand tightly as Barbara kept ranting. "I'm confiscating this bike until the rightful owner comes forward," she declared, trying to wheel it away. When Tommy reached for it, crying, "No, it's mine," she actually shoved him back, hard enough that he hit the ground again. That's when I lost it. "Don't you dare touch my son," I snapped, stepping in front of him. "What is wrong with you? He's a child." Barbara's face flushed a deeper red. "He shouldn't be resisting an HOA official. I'm doing my job. This is theft, plain and simple." That's when Mrs. Chen, our neighbor from across the street, stepped forward, phone raised. "I've been recording this whole thing, Barbara," she said. "You just pushed a child. That's assault." Barbara's head jerked toward her, clearly rattled, but she recovered quickly. "I did no such thing," she snapped. "He fell because he was trying to run off with stolen property. I'm the victim here." That's when we heard the police sirens. Barbara's expression shifted instantly, from furious to smug. "Finally," Barbara muttered, smugly straightening her shoulders. "Now we'll get this sorted out. You'll see what happens when people break the rules in my neighborhood." Patrol car rolled to a stop at the curb. Two officers stepped out, surveying the chaotic scene. A sobbing child, a furious woman clutching a bicycle, and a growing crowd of neighbors, many with phones recording. Relief washed over me when I recognized one of the officers. Officer Martinez. I'd seen him at local community events before. "What's going on here?" he asked, approaching cautiously. Barbara wasted no time launching into her version of reality. "Officer, I caught this boy red-handed, stealing a bicycle from another home in the neighborhood. When I tried to intervene, his father came out and began threatening me. I was just doing my job as HOA president, keeping this community safe and upholding our standards." I took a deep breath and forced myself to speak calmly. "Officer Martinez, today is my son's 10th birthday. That bicycle is a gift from me. I have the receipt right here, and at least 24 people who saw me give it to him earlier today. This woman saw him riding his new bike, accused him of theft without any proof, and then physically shoved him to the ground when he tried to explain." Officer Martinez turned to Barbara. "Ma'am, did you lay hands on the child?" "Absolutely not," she snapped. "He fell while resisting me. He didn't want to give up stolen property." Before I could respond, Mrs. Chen stepped forward again, holding out her phone. "Officer, I have the whole thing on video," she said. "It clearly shows her pushing the boy." Martinez took the phone and watched the footage silently, his frown deepening with every second. "And here's the gift receipt," I added, pulling it from my wallet. "Purchased 3 weeks ago. I've been planning this surprise for over a month." Another neighbor called out from the crowd. "I saw them bring the bike home this morning. The kid was over the moon. He was bouncing around like it was Christmas." Officer Martinez handed the phone back to Mrs. Chen and turned to his partner. They spoke briefly in hushed tones, then approached Barbara again. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step away from the bicycle," he said firmly. Barbara's confident smirk began to crack. "But I'm the HOA president. It's my responsibility to ensure." "Ma'am," Officer Martinez cut her off, "based on the evidence we've reviewed, including video footage and multiple eyewitness accounts, it appears you physically assaulted a minor and attempted to unlawfully seize his property." Barbara's jaw dropped. "That's outrageous. I was protecting this neighborhood." The Millers reported. "We've received no reports of any stolen bicycles," the second officer interrupted flatly. "And even if we had, that wouldn't give you the authority to confront a child or take personal property without cause." While they spoke, I knelt beside Tommy and gently checked him over. "You okay, buddy?" I asked softly. He sniffled and nodded, wiping his eyes. Is she gonna take my bike?" I pulled him into a hug. "No, son. That's your bike. No one's taking it from you." Then, the moment none of us expected came. "Barbara Wilson," Officer Martinez said, "you're under arrest for assaulting a minor and attempted theft. Please place your hands behind your back." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Barbara's face went ghost white as reality hit her. "This is insane. Do you even know who I am? I'll have your badge for this. I'll sue this entire neighborhood." But her protests were ignored as the officers led her, still shouting, to the patrol car. Tommy looked up at me with wide, uncertain eyes. "Dad, is she really getting arrested because of me?" I shook my head. "No, buddy. She's getting arrested because of her choices. No one has the right to hurt you or take what belongs to you. Not even the HOA president." 3 months later, Barbara pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault and attempted theft. The judge sentenced her to 6 months probation, ordered a $5,000 fine, and mandated anger management classes. She was also slapped with a restraining order. She was to stay at least 100 feet away from our family at all times. Just a week after her arrest, the HOA board held an emergency meeting and unanimously voted her out. Word around the neighborhood was that Barbara had listed her home. The shame, it seemed, was too much to live with. One afternoon, as movers loaded boxes into the back of a truck across the street, I happened to glance up and catch her eye. For a moment she froze, her face a cocktail of humiliation and resentment. Then, without saying a word, she turned sharply on her heel and disappeared back inside, slamming the door behind her.